Hello, good morning and welcome to our session. Here we will be discussing the most probable 30 questions from every chapter. Remember, we are discussing limited number of questions which are all likely to be asked in the coming NEET examinations. That's why we call it as most probable questions. When I say that these questions are most probable questions, that means it may be in this model. See, there are so many different varieties of questions, and these are all the varieties of questions that are likely to be asked. 2. The content. This is the point that you have to give more importance to. Importance should be attached to these points. The concepts, these types of concepts are to be asked in the examinations. So both in the nature of question and in the content of the question, they are all likely to be asked in the coming NEET examinations. That is what is meant by the most probable questions. 30 questions from every chapter. Clear? Today we will be discussing first chapter in zoology. This is the living world. Okay? The living world. Is that clear? Okay. In this chapter, we are discussing the basic things which is basic to biology. We know that in biology, we are having taxonomy, the fundamental one, without which study of biology is not possible. We have to group organisms based upon their similarities and differences. Okay? And how we are all grouping? What is the science behind this grouping? And who devised norms for this type of classification? And what are the helping aids that will assist you in studying zoology or botany, as the case may be? That is, what are the taxonomical aids? How you will be studying the biology in a convenient, easy, in a better way. These are the things that are all studied in this chapter. So you will be having questions pertaining to that one. So the basic one in the study of biology is, we know that living things are ranging between 1.7 to 1.8 million species, and we cannot study all these organisms. Even if you allot the entire lifetime for the study of biology, nobody is capable of studying all these things. So we are all developing a technique for studying, making the study easy. That is by grouping them. Grouping is classification. The scientific name for a class is taxon. Taxon is a rank. It's a category in classification. So in classification, what are the things that are all basic? The process that are all basic to taxonomy. First, we have to go and explain the characters of that organism. That's called characterization. First one is characterization. Then you identify whether this species is a new one, which is not at all studied, described earlier, or already studied and described. That is what is called identification. You identify it as a new one, if it is not at all described by anybody, anywhere in this world. It is called identification. Then if you find that it is a new one, you have to group, you have to classify. Then based upon the genus to which it belongs and the species, we will be giving the binomial name, nomenclature. These are the four things that are all basic to taxonomy. So what are they? Characterization, identification, classification, and finally nomenclature. So first one, it should be characterization. Okay. Second one, identification, correct? Classification, and finally it should be nomenclature. So this is nomenclature. This should be A and B. So what is the option which is coming under this category? Characterization and nomenclature. So the answer goes to apple. Clear? That's how you have to identify the answer. You have to reach at the answer. So when you read the question, the answer should come to the mind. Then search the option which is the answer. That's how you have to mark the answer. Don't scan the answers and try to find the correct answer among them. Answer should come to your mind on reading the question. Then go for that option which is your correct answer. Then mark it. Is that point clear? So the first question is option A. Second one, fill in the blanks. See, type of questions are going on changing. Okay. There are two options. These first and second questions are fill in the blanks, but that itself is coming in different ways. So the variety of questions. The dash contain the actual account on habit and distribution of plants in an area. That is the clue. Plants in a given area is flora. Okay. The dash are used for identification of plants and animals based upon similarities and differences. See, we are having the keys which are all used for identification. Keys are for identification. So, we are having keys. Okay? Keys are for identification. So, answers are flora and key. Flora and taxonomic key. So, the answer goes to box. Getting it? Now, coming to the third question. True statement. See, multiple statement question. We are having a number of statements given and you have to select which one is correct or which one is wrong. Here, true statement. Number of species that are known and described range between 1.7 to 1.8. That's a correct statement. It is given in your NCERT book. All these are in our NCERT book itself. Higher the taxa, more are the characteristics that the members within the taxon share. No. See, the lowest one is the species. And the highest one is kingdom. And our hierarchy is ascending hierarchy. Okay. So, what is a species? Species is a group of identical organisms. All features are same, no difference at all. Identical. So, here members are having maximum number of characters in common. And the next higher is genus. What is a genus? It's a group of related species. Species which are related. So, they will be showing some relations. That means they are not all identical. there are some differences. So, in a genus, the members are having some differences. In species, there is no difference. So, differences goes on increasing. Similarities goes on decreasing as we ascend from species to kingdom. So, higher the taxa, as we go from species to genus, family, order, class, etc., more are the characters that they differ, not similar. That is why I said it is wrong. First word in a biological name represents the genus, correct? It is called generic name, while the second component denotes the specific epithet. That's also a clear one, correct one. So, what are all correct? 1 and 3. So, now you go for the option where 1 and 3 are correct. It is cat. Clear? Criteria employed for the present day classification of organisms are based upon. We are having a large number of different types of classifications. All earlier classifications were based upon their observable, visible, external or morphological characters. Such a classification was not that much scientific. It is called artificial or phonetics, based upon external morphology. But nowadays, we know that the large variety of number of organisms that are now present in this world evolved because of evolution. They are all having an evolutionary history. And those organisms which are all similar are put under the same group. That means they should have the same evolutionary history because they have evolved in the same way. Then only they will be similar. So, evolutionary relationship is having an important role in modern type of classifications. All modern type of classifications are relying on, mainly taking phylogenetic relationship. Phylogeny means evolutionary relationship. So, that is the character which is very, very important. So, resemblance in external features, that is only morphological features, no anatomical and physiological traits, no ecological adaptations, breeding habits, no evolutionary relationship. This is called phylogeny. So now we are having phylogenetic relationships. We are taking into account the phylogenetic relationship. Okay, that is taken into account as a number one criteria in all modern classifications. Is that point clear? In binomial nomenclature, what is binomial nomenclature? See, at the time of Linnaeus, every organism was described by very lengthy, multi-worded polynomial nomenclature. And it was very difficult to remember such names, lengthy, complicated names. Linnaeus modified this one and he was instrumental in devising the binomial nomenclature, meaning all organisms are given only one name, that is the biological name or scientific name, by which it is known all over the world. The entire world will be calling that organism by that name, so that there will be no confusion. That name consists of two words. The first word is the generic name, the genus to which it belongs. The second name or the second word is the species epithet, the name of the species to which it belongs. So, in binomial nomenclature, every organism has only one name, scientific name, with two words, a generic and a specific. That is the more correct answer. Is that clear? The correct one. It is having two words. Actually, there may be a third word also. What is that? Name of the author. But that will be in a abbreviated form. So for example, we are having a question coming later on where the name of the author is to be written in an abbreviated form. It need not be Latinized or Latin, it can be in Roman. Okay, so for example, Mangifera indica, when it is written, we know the rules. We have to underline by two separate lines. Then the third one is Lin, name of the author. So actually, a binomial nomenclature is having three words: generic name, specific epithet, and author's name. Is that clear? Now, question number 6. All-inclusive defining feature. See, how can you define a living thing distinct from a non-living thing? A living thing will be having life. It shows certain properties. How you can see that a living thing is having life? It manifests, it exhibits certain characters. What are the characters? Which are present in all members without any exception. Okay, by which you can distinguish a living from a non-living. That is what is called all-inclusive defining feature. Meaning, a character which is present in all members of that group, all members of that living category, without any exception, by which you can distinguish a living from a non-living. What is that character? Only two features are there. One, it is cellular nature or cellular organization, and consciousness. What is consciousness? Ability to understand what's happening inside and outside the body and to interact, ability to understand it and to react to that change. That is what is called consciousness. Every organism, plant and animal, unicellular and multicellular, prokaryote and eukaryote, are having that ability to identify what is going on outside, okay, and will make adjustments. That is what is called consciousness. These are the two all-inclusive defining features. So, A and D is the answer. So, we come to the answer E. Is that clear? Then, next question is, which of them come under the universal rules of nomenclature? That is what I was telling you. Okay, what are the rules and regulations in giving names which is applicable to all living things, plants or animal, unicellular, multicellular? We are having certain rules and regulations in giving names. Okay, the first word is the generic name. We have studied it. Second word is the specific epithet. These words should be Latin words or Latinized words. When they are all printed, it should be in italics to denote that they are all of Latin origin. Or if they are all handwritten, it should be underlined separate line. And the author's name in abbreviated form, that need not be in Latin. It can be in Roman also. Okay. These are the rules in binomial nomenclature. So let us see. The first word in the biological name represents the specific. No. Biological names are generally Latin and written in bold. No. The generic name should start with a capital letter, whereas the specific epithet should always be in small letter. Both words in biological name, when handwritten, are underlined together. No, separately. The first word in a biological name represents the genus, correct? While the second component denotes the specific epithet. Correct. We will wait. Represent by a single word. No, it is a double. Clear? This is how we are all arriving at the 100% correct answer. See, there may be some statements which may be almost similar to the correct answer, but they need not be the 100% correct answer. We have to come at the 100% correct answer, absolutely correct answer. That is also very important in competitive examinations. Clear? Now, read the statements. Again, we are having multiple statement questions. We are having 3 statements here. The scientific names ensure that each organism has only 2 names. Each organism is having only 1 name. That's what I just told you. Only 1 name. An organism is known by only 1 name which is having 2 words. Don't get confused with it. A group or category of living organism is called hierarchy. No. What is hierarchy? All the taxa together, arranged in their order, is called the hierarchy, the ranking. See, all taxa are ranks, but all ranks are not having the same size. Species is the smallest, kingdom is the largest. Okay. They have to be arranged in the increasing size. That is called ascending hierarchy. We are having an ascending hierarchy. It represents all ranks arranged in their correct order. There are 7 subcategories. See, when Linnaeus put forward the ranks, he made only 7 ranks. They are called broad categories or obligate categories. That means any organism, living organism, should be classified in these 7 ranks. It should be having a species, it should be having a genus, it should be having a family, like that. There must be all these 7 ranks for that organism. That's why it is called obligatory, must. Okay? Or broad categories. Why? Because they are all very large categories. But taxonomist after Linnaeus has made a number of subcategories by prefixing super and sub. For example, a class is divided into a number of subclasses. Phylum, chordata, divided into 3 subphyla, sub, below. And you are having classes put together under a superclass species, superclass tetrapoda. So, a number of classes put together into a larger one. So, super. So, super is above, sub is below, a broad category. So, by prefixing super and sub, we are all making a number of subcategories. Why? Why we are all making such subcategories? To make classification 100% scientific, updated, and also to include newly invented organisms. So, we have to make the classification more scientific, more accurate, and also should be capable of accommodating newly discovered organisms. That is why we are all having subcategories. Linnaeus made 7 broad categories. That means all the 3 are wrong. So, what is the option? Doll. Okay. So, answer is clear in our mind. You go to the option which is giving that answer. I hope you are all following the technique in arriving at the correct answer. Is it okay? The branch of biology that deals with the mechanism of functioning of the life processes. See, we are having life processes going on. How a living organism is living. What is the nature? Of course, we know that there are a lot of functions going on. These functions, this nature is described under physiology. Physis means nature. We are all studying physiology, under which we have studied the functioning of all organ systems in our body, because we are having organ systems and we studied the structure, their function, etc., of each and every organ in that system, etc. So, biology that deals with the mechanism of functioning of the life process is physiology. What is anatomy? Study of internal structures. In cockroach, after studying the morphology, what is morphology? Morphos means appearance. After studying the external physical appearance, we go for studying the internal structures. That is what is called anatomy. What is histology? Study of tissues. We are studying in the structural organization. First, the different types of tissues that are present in an animal. That is called histology. Life sciences. Okay, this is the study of living processes that are all going on, mainly in prokaryotes or in the cells. And developmental biology is that branch where we are all studying how a new individual is developing, how fertilization is occurring and zygote is formed, and from zygote how the organism is developing. In animals, there's a definite pattern in which growth occurs, and from that embryo, a fully developed individual is formed. That is simply called as embryology, okay, or developmental biology. Of the following, which statement is wrongly mentioned? See, this is also a multiple statement question where we are to select the wrong statement, not the correct statement. Okay, let us see. Of the following, taxonomic keys are used for identification of plants and animals. It's a correct statement. That is the use of key. Key is a taxonomic aid. The key are based on contrasting characters, generally in a pair called couplet. You will be having two alternating forms of a character. So, for example, the nature of the leaf, either simple or compound. They are having only two alternating forms. So, informations are arranged, the characters are arranged in such a way that every statement is having two alternating forms. That is called couplet. This is the feature of a dichotomous key. Dichotomous key is also called bracketed key because these statements are all having two alternating forms and they will be having a number given. What is the character of your organism? There will be a number given in bracket. You have to follow that number and ultimately you will reach the taxon to which that organism is belonging. That's why it is called bracketed key. This type of key is very, very instrumental, very, very easy for a beginner, for a student. It is very simple. Each statement in taxonomic key is called a lead. Correct? a statement, a character. So, for example, I told you leaf, nature of the leaf, simple or compound. That statement, namely the nature of the leaf, that's a lead. It is having two alternative forms. That's called couplet. Correct. Separate taxonomic key are required for each taxonomic category. See, by looking into, by referring to a taxonomic key, you will be arriving only one taxon. Either family taxon. Suppose you want to know the family of an organism, you have to take family key. Suppose you want to know the division or the phylum, then you have to take that key. There are separate keys for each and every taxon. Only one taxon can be identified by looking into, by referring into that particular key. For understanding the different taxa of the same individual, you may have to refer different keys. Suppose you want to know the genus, first you have to know refer the generic key, then family key, order key, class key, like that. You have to refer different keys. Correct. Taxonomic keys are of two types, indented key or yoked key. Now, this is one type of key. The second type of key is indented or yoked key. This is not given in our books. What is that? Indented key. Why it is given like that? See, this is used for an expert, a taxonomist. Only by an expert. Only a taxonomist can use it. A student, a beginner cannot use it. For a student, the best one is the dichotomous. That is why in our book, information is given regarding dichotomous or bracketed keys. In indented key, what is intent? Two or more characters are put together. For example, what is the type of placentation? In ovary placentation, just for an example, it may be central, marginal, axial, like that. You will be going on. So, two or more characters are put together and there is no number, no bracket. Okay. So, it is a type of classification where more than two characters are put together. That is what is called yoking. It is called yoking. And what is indented? The main character is on the extreme left and the other characters are all at varying indents. Indent means margins. For example, this is the main character. Or you take another one. Name of the leaf. It may be simple. It may be compound. Okay. Two or more characters are yoked together. Now, under the leaf, what is the nature of the margin of the leaf? This is not as important as the nature of the leaf. This is a subcategory. So that subcategory is placed under or placed with a indent, margin on the left side. Then margin, it is smooth or wavy, like that. So main character, sub-character. If you are having again a sub-character which is less important, it will be written like this. So this is how the characters are all placed. The leads are or the statements are all placed or arranged in such a key. This is what is called intended. So, yoked or intended key. Clear? Taxonomic keys are of two types. It is indented or yoked, dichotomous or bracketed. This is the correct statement. So, this one is a wrong one. Clear? So, we have to say that this one is a wrong one. So, the answer is elephant. Clear? Then, next question is, which of the following statements regarding zoological parks are correct? Zoological parks. These are places where wild animals are kept, protected environment under human care. That part is correct. They also provide index of plant specimens. See, in zoological park, only animals are kept. They enable us to learn about their food habits and behavior. You can observe them, study their features, and they also have collection of preserved animal specimens for study and references. There is no preserved. It is live, only live animals, which are all kept under human care, under artificial conditions. So, of these multiple statements, 4 statements, only 2 are correct. What are they? 1 and 3. So, what is the option? 1, 2, 1, 3. This is the correct one. Getting to the next question. The wrong statement among the following. See, this is also a multiple statement question, and what is asked is the wrong one. All multicellular organisms grow due to cell division. Whether it is unicellular or multicellular, they grow only by cell division. Growth is internal by cell division. In plants, this growth by cell division occurs continuously. Correct? In animals, growth is seen only up to a certain stage. Thereafter, it is limited to certain tissues or certain cells only. In majority of higher animals and plants, growth and reproduction are mutually inclusive. What is the meaning of mutually inclusive? Meaning both are same. It is never the same. It is never the same. Why? Because growth is not reproduction and reproduction is not growth. Okay. Growth and reproduction are mutually inclusive in unicellular organisms. Reproduction and growth are same. They are mutually inclusive in unicellular organisms. Whereas in multicellular organisms, they are all mutually exclusive. Both are not same. They are all having different meaning. That point clear? So that is the wrong one. Now, we wait. Don't jump into the answer. We are having one more answer, one more option given. Unicellular organisms also grow by cell division. That's also a correct statement. So, when they grow by cell division, they will be resulting in the formation of a new cell. That is the formation of a new individual. That is why we say that it is reproduction. So, growth and reproduction are same, mutually inclusive in unicellular organisms. Is that point clear? So, this is also correct. So, the wrong statement is doll. Now, question number 13. What is this question? Reproduction, mules, workers, worker bee, and infertile human being. What is common for them? All of them are not capable of reproduction. They are sterile. Justify the statement that reproduction is an all-inclusive defining character. No, reproduction is not at all. Why? Because these organisms are living but not capable of reproduction. So, that is why we are not taking reproduction as an all-inclusive defining feature. Growth and reproduction are mutually inclusive in multicellular organisms. Reproduction is not an all-inclusive character in all-inclusive character of living beings. Reproduction is not an all-inclusive character of living beings. Both A and B. C. No. Both B and C. No. So, we are all having a number of living organisms like mules, hinny. We are also having hinny. Another one. So, where we are having the individual not capable of producing sexually. So, reproduction cannot be taken as a character which is present in all living things. So, this is the only one. It's not an all-inclusive character. In single-celled organisms, we are not very clear about the usage of two terms. We are confused. Why? Because one is this, other one. These two are all same, mutually synonymous, having the same meaning, mutually inclusive. Reproduction and growth. Because in unicellular, whenever they divide, it is by division that growth occurs. Okay? That growth is increase in number, that is also reproduction. So reproduction is also growth, growth is also reproduction. Both are mutually inclusive. Okay. So growth and reproduction are mutually inclusive. That is why it is not very clear about the usage of these two. It is growth and reproduction. Because we cannot say when an amoeba divides, a paramecium divides, whether it is growth because there is increase in number. Okay, so increase in number is an attribute of growth and also it's a type of reproduction. So growth and reproduction are same in such organisms. Okay. Isolated metabolic reactions in vitro. What's the meaning of in vitro? In laboratory conditions. So, in laboratory conditions, these are all taking place in test tubes in non-living conditions. When it is taking place in vitro conditions, it is not a living. But surely living reactions that will be making life possible. So, that is the correct word. Not living and living. This should be the correct answer. Read the paragraph. So, paragraph question. Actually, it is a fill up the blank question. The concept is same as we have discussed in earlier questions, but the type of question, the pattern of question is slightly changed. We are having, as we go from species to kingdom, so species the lowest to kingdom. See, several concepts are put together under one statement. As we go from species to kingdom, the number of common characters goes on decreasing. We have discussed this. So, A should be decreasing. Lower the taxa, that is in species. Dash are the characters that members within the taxon share more or great. Higher the category in kingdom or in higher category, dash is the difficulty, more is the difficulty. Why? Classification is easy in the lower taxa because similarities are more. But to group in the higher taxa, it is not that easy. It is difficult. Why? Because characters are very much different. That's why it is difficult to classify in higher taxa. So, dash is the difficulty. Greater is the difficulty, more is the difficulty. in determining. So that should be the order. Okay, A, B, C. So go on. Decreasing, it is not. Decreasing, less. No, it is more. Increasing, no. Decreasing, then more. Correct. Greater. Correct. Here, this is wrong. So the correct answer will be doll. Clear? What is a taxon? Taxon is the scientific name for a group or a category. Any unit or category in a hierarchical classification, that's correct. We are having 7 broad categories. Each of them are actually a taxon. So each taxon is actually a rank, a species of a hierarchical classification. No, species is a taxon, genus is a taxon, kingdom is a taxon. Group of close related, no. Group of close related organisms, no. Lowest in the taxonomic, no. Any rank, any category is called a taxon, a unit of classification. It may be of lower rank or may be of higher rank. Whatever may be the position, it is a rank, a unit, a taxon. So the correct answer is apple. Number of similarities between two individuals belong to taxonomic categories in the taxonomic hierarchy. See, remember our taxonomic hierarchy is always ascending one. As we go from lowest to largest one, similarities goes on decreasing. So similarities between the two individuals belong to taxonomic categories will go on decreasing. So decreasing as we go in an ascending order. See, if you are going from smallest to largest, that is the ascending order, because our hierarchy is ascending hierarchy. So from smallest to the largest, as we go, there will be decreasing in. As we go the higher levels, go to the higher levels, similarities goes on decreasing. So that is the correct answer. Okay. Increases as we go in the ascending order. No, similarity is not at all increasing. It is decreasing, because in species, characters are all same. But in higher taxa, the characters goes on decreasing. Remain constant. Decrease as we go in a descending order. No. If you are going in an ascending order, it should be increasing as we go in the descending order. Okay. Remain constant. No. You have to read all the statements. Okay. Then only you ascertain that this is the most correct answer. So answer is apple. Okay. Then we are having statements A to E and pick out the incorrect statement. Most of these questions are multiple statement questions. Keys are generally analytical in nature. That's a correct statement. Key are based on contrasting characters, generally in a pair called couplet. Lead is a statement. Same taxonomic key can be used for identification of family, genus, never. One key can be used for identifying only one rank, one category. For identifying family, genus and species, we have to use separate keys. That is wrong. These are used for identification of plants and animals. Correct statement. Identification of plants and animals are based upon similarities and differences. Correct. So what is asked here? Incorrect statement. So which statements are all incorrect? B and C. So what is the option? Sorry. B and C. Okay, you are having these two statements which are all wrong. And coming to the question, taxonomic keys are taxonomic aids used mainly for the purpose of. What is the use of this taxonomic key? For identification. It is for identification. Identification purpose. Okay, that's very simple. Nomenclature, no. Characterization, no. I have told you what these things are. We are using it for identification purposes. Clear? Again, statements. Isolated metabolic reactions in vitro. In vitro means in laboratory conditions are living things, but surely non-living reactions. It is wrong. Isolated metabolic reaction in vitro are the same question we have discussed, are not living things, but surely living reactions. That should be the correct one. Growth exhibited by non-living object. Sometimes non-living objects can also grow by accumulation of material on the surface. It is called accretion. Accumulation of material on the surface cause increase in mass. Then we have to call it as growth, because as per our concept, increase in number or increase in mass are used as or considered as growth. So, growth exhibited by non-living object by the accumulation of material on the surface, whereas in living organism, growth is from inside. Correct. In majority of the higher plants and animals, growth and reproduction are mutually inclusive. Mutually inclusive means both are same. No, only for unicellular organisms. Photoperiod affects the reproduction in plants only. No, it affects all living things. Increase in mass and number of individuals are twin characters of growth. Now, how many of the above statements are all true? We are having B and E. So, answer is box 2. Okay. Then, class comprising animals. See, this is assertion reason type of question, where you will be having two statements. The first statement is A, assertion. It is given as a statement. Second statement is trying to explain the first statement. Sometimes both statements may be wrong, both may be correct, and also the second statement will be, that is the reason will be correct explanation of A. Sometimes one may be correct, sometimes another will be correct. So, we are having different types of statements here. Assertion, reason. Okay. You will have this type of question also. A variety. Classes comprising animals like fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, along with mammals, constitute the higher category called the phylum. So, fish is the, actually, we are having two classes of fishes, amphibians. They are all put under the phylum, which is a larger one. These are based upon the common features like presence of notochord, ventral solid. That's a wrong one. These are all chordates. That is why they are all put under the same phylum, chordata. Chordates will be having a dorsal tubular nerve cord, including the phylum chordata. So, presence of notochord, that we can agree, but a ventral solid neural system, that we cannot accept. Okay. So, A is correct, R is not correct. Okay. It is included in the phylum chordata, presence of notochord and ventral solid neural system. So, A is correct, but R is false. Then we have to opt the option C, because it should be dorsal tubular. Then only it will be included in the phylum Chordata. Is that clear? A is correct. They are all put under the phylum Chordata. Why? Because they share this same characters, and there are three basic things that are common for putting them under the phylum Chordata. One is presence of notochord, at least in some stages of development. 2, dorsal tubular nerve cord. 3, you should have paired pharyngeal gill slits. That point clear? The label of Herbarium. See, in Herbarium sheet, it is having a definite proportion 41 into 29 centimeters. That is the dimension. You will be having the plant parts dried and pasted in it. Okay. Having almost all structures, and it should have the name, local name, then botanical name, that is the scientific name, area of collection, name, author of collection, name of the collector, place, date, etc. and classification up to family. So, local name correct. Height of the plant. No, we don't write the height of the plant. Date of collection correct. Name of the collector, author. So, all such details are given in this. Okay. So, it does not contain what? It does not contain the height of the plant. So, that is the answer for this question. Match column 1. See, this is the same one given in our NCERT book. See, all questions are all from our NCERT book. And this is the part from where you can get the answer, correct answer. Okay. For housefly classification. So, housefly, it is given. You can refer that. Okay. Biological name is Musca domestica, the genus. See, what is the family? Family is Muscidae. So, where is that? Muscidae. So, A should be 3. A, 3. So, you have eliminated these two immediately. This can be any of these answer. 3 or 4 can be the answer. Now, go for the second one. Order. What is the order? Diptera. That is 1. So, this is not the answer. Now, we came to the correct answer immediately. So, as far as possible, we are all giving from which part you can get the answer. Class, Diptera. Okay, so we are having order Diptera, class Insecta. So, Insecta is 4, and last one phylum Arthropoda. So, that is the correct answer. Study the 4 statements given below. See, you are also having some of the questions which are all asked in previous examinations. We are all taking some of the questions that are all asked from this chapter in the previous Neet Neet examinations. Okay. Study the 4 statements. The question number 25. This is taken from the Neet Neet examination of 2016. Given below, and select the 2 correct ones out of them. Definition of biological species was given by Ernst Mayr, the Darwin of the 20th century. He defined the term species, biological meaning of a species, or what is the meaning of species in biology, that was worked out by Ernst Mayr. Correct. Photoperiod does not affect reproduction in plants. No, it affects both living, both plants as well as animals. Binomial nomenclature system was given by Linnaeus, not Whittaker. Unicellular organisms, reproduction is synonymous with growth. Synonymous means having the same meaning. Growth and reproduction are same in unicellular. Growth is reproduction and reproduction is growth there. Okay, so we are having both the two terms same. The two correct statements are 1 and D. I'm sorry, A and D. So the options A, 1. So this is a question asked in 2016 Neet examination. Okay. Again, match the items given in column 1 with that of the column 2. This is a question from the same examination 2016. Herbarium. What is a herbarium? A place where dried, that is the correct one, dried and preserved, not pressed. Pressed plant specimen mounted on sheets are kept. Okay, so one is, A is 3. We are having only this one, which is having not this correct one. Okay, here also there is a confusion. Okay, it should be 1, 4. A is 1. Okay, so we have to eliminate it. So we eliminated 1 and 3. They cannot be the answers. It can be either 2 or 4. Then key. What is a key? A place where collection of preserved plants and animals. No. A booklet containing list of characters and their alternatives, which are helping in identification of various taxa. Okay, so key can be of this one. So 2, B can be 4. So you eliminated this one also. What is museum? Museum is a place where we are having both plant and animal dead, preserved. So C can be 1. And what's a catalog? Catalog is a list that enumerates methodologically all the species. That's only a checklist that gives you the presence or absence of organisms in a given area. It's a checklist only. So that's correct one. So we have arrived at the correct answer. The next question is the examination of 2018. All of the following are included in exit to. What is exit to? Out of the original place. That is what is called exit to. If they are all conserved, protected in their own native place, in their own home place, then it is called in situ. It is called in situ. Here it is ex situ. Ex situ conservation. Botanical garden. It is a typical ex situ. Sacred grove. In the original place, it is protected. Plants and animals of that area are protected. So it is an exception for ex situ. So this is our correct answer. Wildlife safari parks, we are bringing animals and putting them in an area. Seed banks, we are taking only. It is also an ex situ conservation, germplasm conservation, etc. Genome conservation. So these are all typical example for ex situ. Whereas what is an except, that is in situ, this is sacred groves. Which of the following is not a method of in situ? See, in situ. We are having these two questions from 2018. Conservation of biodiversity, not a method of in situ, that is ex situ. Ex situ. We are having botanical garden. We are taking plants from different parts of the world and planting them, giving them conditions which are almost similar to that of their original place. Whereas in wildlife sanctuaries, sacred groves, biosphere reserves, we are all keeping them in their original place. And botanical garden is an exception. It is ex situ. So, not a method of in situ, meaning which is an ex situ. Answer is 2. Correctly written scientific name. I have told you that there is one question coming. We are having the printed form in italics. Mangifera, correct. Indica, correct. Lin, author's name, 3-worded. So that is the correct one. What is the wrong one here? Indica, it should be in small letter. Mangifera indica, what is the wrong one? Author's name is not given. This is more correct. Mangifera indica called, no. The author's name should be in abbreviated form. It need not be in full. In abbreviation. That is sufficient. That's why these are all wrong and this is the correct one. This question was asked for 2019. And the last question from this chapter, which of the following is not typically associated with in situ? See, why I concentrated on this one? Because in almost every year, one or another question is asked from this in situ, ex situ, like conservation, okay, or preservation. So, taxonomic aids, that is a thrust area from this chapter. Which of the following is not typically associated with in situ, not associated? So, it is, question is, which is an ex situ? That is what is asked. Okay. Protection of large area of natural habitat in their original place, that is in situ. Restoration of damaged ecosystem, original place. Maintenance of biosphere. We are all keeping these organisms and plants and animals in their original place. Preservation of flora and fauna in artificial environments. Establishment of national parks and sanctuaries. So, the correct one is the establishment of organisms in artificial. It is not in their original home. Preservation of organisms, flora and fauna. Flora means plants, fauna, animals. Flora and fauna, plants and animals in artificial environment, not in their original home. So, that is a typical ex situ. So, the answer goes to dot. I hope it is thorough. This chapter is thorough to you. Is it okay? So, we are taking the thrust areas, most probable questions that are likely to be asked for the NEET examinations. Hope you will be enjoying the sessions, which is highly beneficial. Okay, you can identify what are the types of questions and what are the thrust areas from where there is likely questions to be asked next time. So, thank you all. Thank you very much. We will meet with another set of question paper from the second chapter. Until then, goodbye. Thank you. Thank you.